Hello, gorgeous light being. How are you doing today? It must feel good to know that you've been able to let go and heal your heart. Have a new start. Because I'm connecting with somebody today who used to have a black hole in their heart. You were guarded, incredibly guarded, mean, resentful, unrelenting, angry, demonic at times. Ooh, demonic at times. Aggressive vision I got in my head. I am the hermetologist, clairvoyant, intuitive reader, also using tarots and oracle cards in the pre-shuffle. This is the pre-shuffle. These are the oracle cards. I'm talking to someone who's a screamer. So when you're annoyed or angry, you get raged, red-faced, steam coming out your ears at times. At the worst times in relationships, you've been a screamer and you've had steam coming out your head, steam coming out of your nostrils, fuming, raging. Whether that's you by yourself, you talking to you in the mirror, or you full on screaming at your lover, there's been that internal rage. This could be in other relationships too. So we're going to talk about love because this is a really deep love reading. Someone's really coming into a deep union with another person. Finally, the purest love of all. It's gorgeous. I feel honored. I feel really chill. I feel really positive to deliver this message today. And that's a channeled message. So it's really about my body and how I feel and what I sense through my clear senses. And it's gorgeous. I'm really happy for you guys. And it feels nice to come back to the channel and kind of feel privileged to just chill and dive into gorgeous energy. Sometimes we have tougher energy over here, but this is a gorgeous reading and I'm honored to kind of be here and journey with this experience with you, right? So we're going to look at the element of your life and what's really gone on here. And I've got to say, wow, you're incredibly skilled, because only when that darker side of you came out, that rage and that irritation in a range of relationships, the business related, work related, a personal life, if you've got kids, with your kids, your kids may be even be picking up on those kind of behaviors. If you had a really sticky divorce or really toxic breakup, moved out, and you had a lot of rage in relationships, your son or daughter could have taken the brunt for that toxicity. And we're going to talk about that as well. I am the hermetologist, studied psychological development, studied developmental aspects of the self for over 20 years now. So I'll give you some tips and some strategies in line with the symbolism from these cards as well as we go, okay? Healing experience. So let's deep dive. Let's really deep dive today. First card out, the 8 of Cups. You're moving on. Not only that, next card out, 7 of Wands. You've been resisting a long time. It makes me cry a little bit internally. My aura internally is crying, my heart chakra internally is crying, my sacral chakra internally is crying, because I feel. And what I feel is how guarded you've been in relation to meeting anybody new, in relation to putting yourself out there. There's been this black hole inside of you, in the heart chakra specifically, and your sacral, where you weren't willing to accept anybody else in your life. And if we're honest with ourselves, then it's because you weren't willing to accept you. You weren't willing to accept who you were, because actually you were becoming who you are. So you needed this time to really be alone. And in my head I want to say clone so much, so I'm going to say it, because you didn't want to be a clone. You didn't want to be a carbon copy. You didn't want to get into a relationship where the person you're with mirrors you, or you just date another clone from your past, or pick up a stereotypical man or woman who's just going to fit the bill and do what you want them to do just to make it. And opportunists are real, and you know the worth that you bring to the table. You've known your worth, and you know you're evolving and growing, and it's not just about letting anybody else in. Simple as that. It's been hard for you because you've been really, really lonely, and you've had quite a lot of mental health problems as well because of this. Because when you are quite feisty and aggressive, like we spoke about in the pre-shuffles, it can be seen as you're the problem. I don't see anyone outrightly saying you are the problem, because in my opinion, your energy is really, really sweet, and you're really, really emotional, and you're really, really loving and kind, and you're seen. And people see that you're spiritual and you're gifted. People are aware that you're like a super empath and really, really conscious. People know that you're gifted spiritually. So there's respect and admiration for that. No one's overly said, you're crazy, you're a lunatic, you're wild, you're not right in the head. But because you respond in ways sometimes that aren't the sweetest, when you try and remain that peaceful, light, vibrant energy, and you lose decorum once in a while because you fucking had it and you know it's not right, and that person's potentially often quite forgiving, and they're like, it's okay, it's fine, we can still be together, we'll make it work. But you're angry because you know that that's not going to work. And you wish it was that easy just to choose somebody. And you wish it was that easy just to settle down with someone who acts perfect or gives you everything that you want. Because to you, you know it's not enough. And to them, it reveals quite obviously that they're not even conscious enough to meet you in the mind, to meet you where you stand, to be enough for you. Yeah? Everyone around you in the connection wasn't enough for you, and they loved you. They really, really did love you. But at the capacity at which they love themselves, at the level of awakening they had, at the level of consciousness they had. And that makes me want to speak about dimensions of consciousness. If they exist in 1D or 2D or 5D, they're 5D believers, they're 4D believers. And it's way bigger than that, but that's just an example. But you're a 7D, or you're an 8D, or you're a 9D, or then you're living in a total different dimension. And your mission's different, your ascension cycles are different, your awakening journey's different, your kundalini risings at different times. Sounds silly, but it's actually a real thing. And I'm saying it to you guys first. I've never processed what it means to be in a relationship with someone who has a total kundalini rising to you. If they have a kundalini rising pattern and you have a kundalini rising pattern and they're opposing, then boy, you're going to be so out of sync you wouldn't believe. And that's for higher level individuals that are in union and in a relationship, but you're rising at different times and you're rising in different directions. Yeah, because someone over here is a 2D and someone over here is a 4D. And multi-dimensional relationships can work. You can date anyone from any plane of consciousness, but it's about being conscious enough to know that and navigate through that. Love languages are important. We have love language content over here, and finally cracking the love code. So that's interesting with this as well, because the 8 of Cups is here and that's moving on. And that was finally moving on in the cracking the code reading we done about 2 weeks ago. And the love language reading was also similar 2 weeks ago. So dive back in over there. You chose. And do you know what? Some of these, I want to say women, yeah. So either way, take it as it resonates, because I'm connecting with a more of a masculine character. So you can be male or female. We believe in the non-binary over here. So you can be male or female. It doesn't matter. It's merely energy, yin and yang. But you're presenting as the masculine character, the stronger emperor vibration. And then we're looking at feminines that have presented, and they've either been introduced to you by others. They feel like it feels like they're being betrothed to you. There's this little bit of air of like potentially even arranged marriage, or like dating agencies. Do you get what I mean? Like, let's bring you together with this person. Let's bring you together. Like, I want to keep saying betrothed. This person is betrothed to you. This is where you're going to go next. Like it's like, oh, you have to date someone from this community or this group. Oh, let's see who's next on the list to date the royal. Because it's giving me that. It's giving me Meghan Markle should never be with Harry because she was not betrothed to him. It must be somebody else. Yeah, could never be Meghan. She's an actress, God forbid, you know? It's giving me that energy really, really strongly. And that's an incredible story. Makes me a little bit cry as well. I'm doing a lot of internal crying, guys. I've never once internal cried on the channel. Explain to me what the fuck that is and how you do that, because that's clearly you, not me. So talk to me about your internal cries, because now that's the second time I've internally cried. And it's super empath, well composed, so that's got to be your vibration, guys. I don't know how you manage to internal cry, like you feel the emotion so deeply inside of yourself, it whips around your heart chakra and just runs right back down into your sacral, into your root, and it's just grounded again. So I've never worked with anybody who manages their emotional chi like that. Yeah, do you hear that? It comes up from your root, goes straight up to your sacral, goes for your solar plexus and your heart, spins back round, and then goes right back down to the root again. So someone is channeling and managing their chi round and round again in a really, really positive way. Because in that same breath, it brought me to the image of Princess Diana. Everyone has an issue with Meghan and Harry, but do you understand that Princess Diana went through the exact same thing? Because she was betrothed to Charles. But Charles didn't even want her. Charles wanted Camilla. Camilla's now sitting there as the queen. That's what he wanted. But the whole time he was with Diana, he was having an affair with Camilla. Yeah? And everyone speaks so highly of Diana now. But Diana was in a right mess and really not treated fairly at times. Definitely not by the royals. That's why Harry went down the route he did in life. Yeah? That's why he married someone like Meghan, because Meghan is very similar, in my opinion, to Diana. Very similar. For what she stands for, what she advocates for. And they say she's fake and she's not genuine and she's just acting, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Because you all seem to know her very well personally, don't you? Just like I can make a judgment, you can. But there's always going to be someone who's trying to say that's not their real character. But you've never met them and you don't actually know them. She's an actress, so she's got to be acting. Okay. Well, as much as I love the roles, because we are in the UK and I just have to respect everyone and their positions and ancestry and how the world works, how the monarchy was constructed throughout history. I mean, there's a lot of bad things, but that's the way the world evolved, and I'm very much an evolutionist. I stand by the society and how it evolves. I understand systems incredibly well, so I understand that that's the system. And actually, I'm more interested in understanding the infrastructure of it, how we make it healthy and how it evolves over time throughout history. That's my interest, yeah? So I don't dive in and just choose to be an opinion poll of the conversation. I choose to understand the infrastructure and what that means for the future of all of us. And what the fuck that's going to mean for George, who's yet to take the throne. That's where I'm at. Yeah, I'm a futurist. Let's think about fucking George, shall we? And that's even before William takes the seat. My lord, what are we in for? Yeah, let's look at things from alternative perspectives. Let's give it a bird's eye view. And that's who I'm connecting with today. Someone who looks at things from a bird's eye view. And not face on in a situation. And a lot of your relationships in the past have been that face on dynamic. And the thing is, and this makes me want to cry again, there's so much tears coming out of me without coming out of me. It's a great way to manage your emotions, right? But I say that because even when you were in relationships in the past, the black hole existed. So going cold turkey and going black hole energy and not being in it, 2 women, I get here, turn away. And once again, male or female off the table. So I'm going to say man and woman, but the last time I'm going to bring this up to you guys, but it doesn't matter. I'm looking at images and they're shining up to me, and there's a masculine here as you, and then these 2 women. So once again, you are presenting as that leader in the relationship. This is incredibly difficult if you are feminine and you're dating 2 men that are coming forward as the more feminine character. And they can look incredibly masculine. Be very masculine in their presence, yet with you and in your dynamic, they surrender and become the feminine. Not what you wanted, not what you needed. So now I'm definitely connecting with feminine that have been in more of their masculine energy, dating feminines, and a masculine who is in more of his feminine energy, looking for a more masculine vibration and dating feminine. Because this masculine is very feminine, and to balance him out, he needs a fiery masculine in female form. He can't find that. And this feminine also is looking for masculine, but is masculine presenting in energy because of the power seat that she's in. Two feminine energies presenting. The last two people that you were with. One of them was dreaming of being with you for all the wrong reasons. I want to say obsessed with you, but it's a little bit harsh because obsession is a real thing. So it's lower level obsession where they just looked at you with rose tinted glasses, looked at you as the apple of their eye. They just loved you to pieces and what you could be together. And you knew that the way in which they were with you from the earliest of times was just you giving to them. And even the lightest thing that you give them was always just so fulfilling to them. You really, really fulfilled this person so much. And it was beautiful and it was lovely. But the truth of the matter is, you knew you weren't getting that fulfillment back. So it was unfair for you to keep fulfilling this person, and you're doing bare minimum to fulfill them too. What they needed from you to be fulfilled was very minimum, and they loved it. It would have been enough for them for the rest of their lives, and they would have been happy forever with you. But you knew you weren't getting fulfillment in return, and it was just going to be blah. Eventually, it was already blah because of the fact that they were so fulfilled with such the bare minimum. And it felt like a settlement. It felt like maybe you could have been on some kind of land that was a settlement, or in some kind of community that was communal. It just didn't make sense. It just wasn't the way, and you knew that. So you had to let that person go, and they was incredibly loving, loved you to pieces, and would have loved you to the end of time, would have done anything for you, you know. But once again, that black hole in your heart told you needed more and you wanted so much more. Gorgeous. This is a real disciple of light, because you see love in all of its form and all of its glory, and you could easily settle down and go for it with this person or that person, but you sacrificed it for more. Not a lot of people do that. A lot of people just dive in and go with it. I mean, 20 years, 30 years down the line, then you're getting divorced, then you're dissatisfied, then you're bored out your brain and want something new, and you've devoted 30 years to just blasé connection. Come on, do better, guys. Come on. Yeah. It's only a real seer, a real sage, a real light worker, a real shaman, a real earth angel and starseed on the journey who's willing to sacrifice that love and level of obsession and devotion that someone presents with so early on for something real. Yeah? Another person here as well that you loved really very much. Like, you had love for them, they had love for you. You felt like it was twin flame union with them. I'm actually torn. I think that this is the new person that's presenting. Because a part of me is going, you felt like there was a connection in the past. Let's dive a little bit more with the tarot. Temperance and the World. Okay, there we go. Nine of Wands, Four of Swords. Yep, okay. So with the Temperance in the back of the mind and the World in the front of the mind, this is indeed a connection in the past that you felt like was a mirror connection with twin flame. You felt like this was going to be your happily ever after. You wanted to make this person your king or queen. The issue with this person, confirmation for you guys, makes me want to cry again, guys, is they wouldn't look at you. They wouldn't give you the eye contact. For some reason, in this connection, it was something about the eyes. The way you look at them, the way they look at you, the way they look at other people. There could have been a third party in this connection, and it was the way that they looked at them that they never looked at you that you was aware of. Or the way that they looked at people in general when you were out versus how they looked at you. There was something that wasn't being seen in the connection. Yeah, it's giving karmic bond, a lack of completion. It was young love, and it was lusty and fun and rough and exciting, and There's some issues around the throat in this relationship, so communication and throat chakra, but there's also issue around eye contact and opening up. So you could have been intimidated, they could have been intimidated. There could have been issues with the way in which you looked at each other and said what was really going on. There's this kind of tether to the throat as well, with not wanting to speak up, and it created a real burden, a real problem for someone, okay? This was a karmic energy. This was your first kind of experience, I guess, of twin flame or mirroring energies, or of significant relationship in your life to teach you things. With the 9 of Wands coming out with that, and the 4 of Swords also coming out with that, it's like it made you build up a guard, and it made you want to protect this person. It made you want to love this person. It made you want to let your guard down for this person. I have a feeling that before you met this person, you were really guarded. You've always been a guarded person, really sensitive and aware of who you bring into your auric field and don't. You started to let your guard down for this person, and the more you let your guard down, the more it revealed how unhealed you were, because only when you do let your guard down can you really see you. So that black hole that you've been carrying around, that's because it's been there a really long time, and only when you choose to heal your heart in a connection and try, do you start to waver through the ups and downs and really find you. So in that moment, you really started to find yourself. It's like a connection that you get in for a bit of fun and a laugh and a joke, and you don't want nothing serious, and you don't want nothing serious, and then you get into it, and then suddenly it still starts to feel really magical, and maybe you do want something serious, but the other person has, and you have programmed yourself not to feel that way, so you push each other away or you play it down. So it turns into something not so serious, but now there's mixed signals because you do want more, but you acted like you didn't want more, and you're butting heads and going back and forth, and there's issues about how you show up when you go out, what you're wearing, what you're doing in public, who you're talking to. And there's this kind of hippie free spirit life that's kind of attached to this as well. So it's the different ways that you wanted to live, and it just created a real obstacle. You had to rest after that connection and that love, because it was a real shift for you. You really felt like you found your other, but you realized it just wasn't it. It couldn't be. And it was hard because it's that turn of, you feel that was a really significant relationship in your journey of ascension, but it can't be just that. And that is what love is, in my opinion, as well. Learning to let go, loving and leaving, yeah? Because there's more to be done, because you must journey on now, you know, that kind of energy. So Knight of Swords then comes out, beautiful energy, followed by Knight of Wands, beautiful energy, wow. Followed by the Page of Wands, followed by the Knight of Cups, and finishing with the 10 of Cups. Wow. Wow. Do you see the growth that you've gone through here? We've just moved through Knight of Swords, Knight of Wands, that's fire and water, that's real yin and yang. That's your emotions, that's your intellect, that's your thoughts, feelings and emotions all swirling up together with a Page of Wands, yeah? With you really starting to learn from that past relationship what you want for the future. Then you move forward in the Knight of Cups. You're grown now. You are grown. You are not the same person that you were in that old connection. You needed that, because now you have something to offer. The Knight of Cups. You've travelled through the Knight of Swords, the Knight of Wands, the Page of Wands, and the Knight of Cups to get to your 10 of Cups. What a way to end. I've done a few readings over the last few days, and the 10 of Cups, I believe, has come up in all 3. And this is a trilogy reading. I love tarot when it just magically does its thing. It's epic. From the Master reading, to the Dark Force reading, to this reading, the last 3 readings on the channel connected to this, well, this included, the last 2 and this, all 10 of Cups. Somewhere towards the end, signifying absolute completion and contentment in your life because of this. It's showing me that relationship we spoke about with that kind of obsessive character who was willing to just do whatever you wanted, Knight of Swords. You could have it all with this person, but you sacrificed it for more resilience. So you gave it back. You put that person back into the arena to find someone better for them to love. Yeah? Knight of Wands. You got passion all worked up inside of yourself and really felt like you found a fire inside of you with this new person. Didn't work because it turned you into the Page of Wands. You went from the Knight of Wands to the Page of Wands. So you might have felt emasculated, minimized, not good enough. small. Her ego bruised over this. This relationship bruised your ego massively. And that is exactly what you needed. Because the Knight of Cups. Now you know how to love. Only because of the last relationship where you went through that hurt and you felt emasculated and it took you back to Page of Wands, that gave you the strength you needed for Knight of Cups. So that was definitely a destined connection. That was definitely a soulmate you was with, because they taught you how to give through Knight of Cups. Because before, you weren't presenting as such. You were literally Page of Wands, acting like you were Knight of Wands. And you were acting like you were positive and gung-ho and ready for this connection, but you weren't really. Because you still had that black hole in your heart. So that person literally dragged that black hole out of you, slapped it on the table and said, fucking look at that shit. What the fuck? And you done the same for them. It may have never come across that way in conversation. More than likely it didn't. But somewhere, some way, shape or form, that was the sentiment of that relationship. Hit like if I'm correct. Share more in the comments. Do let me know. Knight of Cups. Now you're ready. And there you are, 10 of Cups. I love it. Because it's the family card, it's the contentment card, it's the fulfillment card. And not everybody wants kids and a husband or a wife, but whatever it is for you, that fulfillment's here. And I love it even more because the oracle cards attached to that at the end of this reading are indeed the unicorn. It's 2 unicorns coming together. Makes me want to share my story, which I'm not going to do because I've shared a lot of stories this week. But all I will say is hermatology.me is linked in the description. When I first started building my corporation in 2016, before 2016 actually, prior to 2016, my company was called Divine Unicorns. It was cheesy. It was embarrassing. I didn't know that unicorns were a billion-dollar construct, a narrative. It means billion-dollar or billion-dollar company. I didn't know that. I just knew I loved unicorns, and I knew I loved the divine. So it was called Divine Unicorns. And I introduced it to all my family and friends or at a special Christmas dinner that I kind of set like as a ritual. I was like, guys, we need to start doing big women Christmas dinners every year. I was like 20, mid-20s, but I like to be the hostess with the mostest. So I'm like, right, everyone, we're going to start doing an annual Christmas dinner and we're all going to bring our favourite cuisine. We're going to celebrate and really have a great life, okay, and be prosperous and talk about what we're doing. Today I'm sharing this contract with all of you. I would like you to all sign on the dotted line. This is my corporation I'm going to build over the next decade. It's called Unicorns Divine, and we're working on emotional well-being, and actually we're going to have elements of Ofsted in it and ways to heal and improve staffing in the institution and blah, 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 blah. Laughable to me today because, firstly, only one person signed on the dotted line on that day at that very important shareholder meeting. The stakeholders were not, and the board was not boarding that day. Only one person signed on the dotted line. Livid. But but the ambition was there, you know, the ambition for something new was there. And my ambition and desire to write up and manifest something like that at a young age and believe in it, and let it just kind of ferment and change and dissolve and suddenly become what it is today, which is totally separate. But hermatology isn't necessarily divine unicorns, but it stemmed from that ideology. I was the creator of both, so it's still in my heart, you know. And I see that in this image. It's like whatever you're manifesting in the dark and whatever the seed you planted, it grows. And this person who isn't there, like, and for me, all it takes is one person to sign on the dotted line is what I want to say, yeah? All it takes is one person. And I remember that because I like, in the new year, I said to that friend, thank you. I said, I know it sounds a bit silly and I know I've just kind of quit my job and I'm going in a new direction. Thank you. I said, because I know that you guys don't really get what I'm doing and I know you guys don't really believe in me, but you signed on the dotted line and you don't know what you're going to be expected of. You don't really get it. And she goes, no, I see what you're doing and I don't really care. Like, I'm going to support you in everything that you do. Like, I'm going to support you. And I said, that's all I need. I said, this is really scary for me, and this is really, really hard. And just to know that you're willing to sign on the dotted line and not really understand it fully, but just be there, like, whatever, Louise, whatever you need, I'll do it. And I know that deep down she felt it was stupid, and I know all the girls were just like, oh, this is so dumb, Louise, whatever. But she cared enough to humour me. Yeah? And in a world where everyone just shits on you, or everyone ignores you, and everyone threw that fucking manifesto in the trash, she gave me a spark of hope. She helped me believe a little bit more. So I carried on. Kept trucking. And it's funny because the asset card's out, the gambling card's out, the treasure's out with that. And my ego's humongous in relation to a coin at this time. And what I think I'm worth, what I think I'm building is worth. So in my mind, I am working in the billions and trillions range. I've got a long way to go. Because one manifesto signature pre-2016 isn't going to cut the mustard. But belief's enough. And all it takes is that one signature, because that was a belief system. That was a I love you. That was a pure, genuine love and respect for a friend in that moment. And sometimes that's all you need. And I see that here. And it's beautiful. It's so beautiful. You got to keep going, and you got to keep trusting. I see. It's fascinating, this connection, because listen to this. I see you, and you're busy, right? You're eating, you're drinking, you're being merry potentially, right? Christmas is round the corner. You're having a great time. You're doing whatever it is that you are doing, right? But there's someone in the back of your mind. You're channeling with someone, it feels like. You're focused on whatever you're focused on. But there's someone in the back of your mind. And this person has their eyes on this divine unicorn, right? On this massive manifestation. And they're not looking at you. They're not paying attention to you. But they are mirroring you. Quite similarly to your last connection, this person, weirdly enough, it's never really a good sign to say that your ex or the last serious relationship you had has the markings of something new in your reality. But I guess you've learned from that, and you've taken the good and integrated that into the Knight of Cups. Because I'm looking at that. This person isn't looking at you. But they're attached to you in a major, major way. And I'm not talking toxic attachment. I'm talking ethereal, energetic alignment. I'm talking purpose and mission. I'm talking healing and health. But this person is staring at treasure, assets, and they're taking a massive gamble in life. It talks about soul contracts. It talks about mission. It talks about the unique identity of two people, yet how synergized they can be as a whole. It talks about going off and mastering your own craft. Someone could be smoking. In the vision in my head, yeah, and because of the images also, someone's like rolling up. So rolling up tobacco, rolling up a spliff. Someone's sitting there with this $1 billion dream and manifestation rolling up. And the other person is just out there with their head up high, galloping forward. With the same mission in mind. It's two people in mission in total separate realities doing the damn thing. And there's loads of people here because of it. I see people everywhere rising up. Unique individuals, light workers, starseeds. So this looks like a community. This looks like people really coming into their own. And this looks like people saving. This is activism. Like someone saving the climate, saving fishes in the sea. Gives me the story of the turtle with the plastic wrapped around their neck that nearly dies, you know, and all the fish in the sea trapped by plastic. It gives me that. It gives me mermen and merwomen. It gives me sirens. It gives me real unique spiritualist. And it gives me abortion. It gives me pro-choice. It gives me women's rights. A lot of interesting underwater sea stuff as well. A lot of different assets, a lot of different belief systems, a lot of earth consciousness. Gives me families and companies and communities and hearsay and word of mouth, and things really starting to blossom. I'm going to dive in a little bit more because I can't just leave it on an open. It's these two mirrored energies, these two unicorns just staring at me without even looking at me or at each other. You're separately living in what is only the most divine mission ever. Wheel of Fortune. Right, I've just shuffled the deck again. Wheel of Fortune. Destiny. Followed by the Ace of Swords. This is clear as day. Back of the mind, Queen of Wands. Front of the mind, High Priestess. Are you joking? Past energy, the Emperor. Future energy, the Ace of Cups. I'm such a child. When it comes to tarot, it's like so heaven. I love tarot. I love tarot. Hit the like if you love tarot. Say I love tarot in the comments, people. Come on, this channel must get traction one day. The Sun, come out my face. Ace of Cups. I didn't even say Two of Cups because I was too excited. Ace of Cups, Two of Cups, the Sun. Can't imagine I didn't even get excited about Two of Cups because I was already excited about Ace of Cups. And I flipped again and it's the Sun. Come out my face. Then the Devil's out. Typical. Devil just always comes to ruin the party. And last card, Three of Swords. Oh, drop me out. I was going to leave, but I can't leave with this now. Okay. Obviously, we're going to get clarity on this whole spread because the Devil and the Three of Swords is out, so I need to understand why the fuck they're there. But let's just dive because that's gorgeous. I wanted to leave. I've done the reading. We've done a full tarot spread, and I've used the oracles throughout. The unicorn ideology, that's coming from the oracles. They're gorgeous. They're purposeful. It's a real gorgeous connection. This is so hot. Listen. It's the lover that you haven't got to control, manipulate, argue with. You can go away and leave your lover for God knows how long to just get on with their life while you do you. Because the emperor's in the past. So it makes it clear to me that you're very, very emperor. You're showing up as masculine. Right? I said that the masculine showing up a lot more feminine, but either way, the masculine presence is strong. And both of, whether you're male or female, both of you guys were showing up, not the couple, but who the viewer, both of you guys are showing up with this energy of, I need a masculine energy because I'm strong in my yin. I need the yang, you know? I need my yin and yang. I need it. Too much feminine vibration. Because you're super, super powerful with that masculine. And you're very, very internalized and powerful with your feminine. You have the yin and yang within inside of you. So you're looking for that dynamic within your other. So you're meeting relationships in the past. Sorry, I've got a lot of words coming to me. I'm trying to make the most sense as quick as I can. But mostly you are meeting a one-sided person that was overly yin or overly yang. So now you're getting more conscious of how people are presenting and what they do in their life and how much of the other side they have to them too. Because if you're in a dominant feminine relationship, you still need that masculine flair in your lover to match your masculine flair. You've got masculine and feminine, but in your relationships you're only being met with feminine because most people are intimidated by your masculine presence. Yeah? So you're looking for someone who can also meet you with that gorgeous masculine vibration to match yours. and you couldn't get that. Yeah? For me, imagine what I do on this channel. Imagine how I speak and what I go through. I need a strong masculine, but I'm also really, really emotive, so I need a strong feminine too. So I need someone who knows how to exude both of those vibrations in equal measure at the right time, in an easy, effervescent way where we haven't got to try, but it's bubbly and vibrant and fizzy and alive and ooh, it's good, right? Sounds fucking impossible. Sounds like a miracle, right? But it does exist if you believe and have faith. You have to have faith. You have to put yourself out there in that way to believe it's possible as well. And you have to see through the illusion and what God sends you. And God always sends you stuff like, do you want this? Is this enough? Or do you want more than this? And you have to decide. It's like the story that someone told me once, where someone was drowning on a little dinghy. And he was praying, God, save me, I'm in the ocean, the middle of the ocean, I'm drowning, I need you. Along came a jet ski. I'll save you, get on. No, I've already called God, God said he's going to save me, away. Off the jet ski's gone. Next, a little kayak, canoe, come on, get in, we'll save you. No, I've spoken to God already, God's coming. Oh wait, next a lot of gorgeous luxury yachts come along, get in, quick. No, I've spoken to God. God's going to save me. There you go. Gone. The man dies and drowns. End of the story. Got to heaven and said, God, why didn't you save me? God said, I did. Sent you a jet ski. Sent you a kayak canoe. Sent you a luxurious yacht as well. But you didn't take it. So the story is understanding what you're being given and what is or isn't right for you. Understanding that there are other ways out. Understanding how dynamics truly work. That's what you've been through. Yeah? Because no one was saying to stay in that relationship because it's been sent to you. But understand what you need and really want. Understand that God works through people and in different ways. Because those were experiences and relationships to have. So there's no resentment or anger towards these past lovers because they've installed everything in you that you needed to be the man or woman that you are today. Ready for this. Awakened to this. Wheel of Fortune clarified by the Seven of Wands. You were resisting a destiny that wasn't rightfully yours. Ace of Swords covered by the Five of Pentacles. You put yourself out in the cold because you're not going to go into a connection that's unclear. And you're clear about what you want. You're clear about your destiny. So of course you're going to use Seven of Wands and Five of Pentacles to resist anything that isn't you. Guess what's on top of the Queen of Wands now? Guess. I'll wait. If you're with me, pause, write in the comments. Guess what is on top of the Queen of Wands. What would be on top of the Queen of Wands, really? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The King of Wands. Duh. What else would be on top of the Queen of Wands? The King. Because they are counterparts. And in the back of your mind, you knew what you wanted. And it was your true lover. Your truest other. Wow. On top of the High Priestess, front of the mind, Six of Swords, you knew. You had to move on. You had to get away. You had to evolve. You had to ascend. Emperor in the past, covered by the Ten of Wands. You had to deal with the burdens of life, of what it meant to be a powerful masculine. A powerful feminine, to master your chi, internally and externally, to be the yin and yang. Wow. Ace of Cups, covered by the Six of Pentacles. You had to balance out your energy. You had to manage your emotions. You had to learn to give and receive. Do you know what it's like when you realise that you are a giver all the time? And then you master not overgiving. But then you get into a relationship where you're actually receiving. But you never received before. You ever been in a relationship where you never received before? The first time you receive in love. Oh my God. You will fuck up your first relationship that you ever have when you don't know how to receive. And you think you've mastered it because you're not overgiving anymore. But then you're like, oh my God, I don't even know how to act casual and normal when I receive because I've never received before. And when you first start receiving, you shut down and you reject the receive. Like you're not even trying to, but you're programmed automatically to like look away or hide or be shy. Like someone who's not giving eye contact in that past relationship, that was that energy. Like, I'm not trying to look at it, or there's this awkwardness in the dynamic because someone's fucking thrown and tripping out in the now moment because they've never received. And the dynamic's thrown because this person doesn't know how to receive all that love. So you think you're ready to love, but you're still fucking wounded masculine or wounded feminine because you don't even know how to receive love. That's how much you were in deficit of love in the past. Fuck it, life's hard, man. They don't get it. They do not get it. Two of Cups, King of Swords. You went through it mentally for this. I spoke about that mental health, emotional well-being, that psychological toll, that black hole in the heart really fucks with your psyche. Top of the Sun, Ace of Pentacles. The Devil with the Seven of Swords. Wow. The Devil is a liar. A lot of toxic energy. A lot of toxic energy you work through. And a lot of toxic energy you see in other people. You need a higher level connection where you can talk about this stuff openly. Yeah? Not a lot of people, and why I do what I do as well, because I am this kind of person. Not a lot of people know how to have these kind of higher level conversations and really go there empathically and spiritually and talk about mind, body and soul and spirit and really dissect and dive into the consciousness without fear. And without judgment and without analysis paralysis, because I'm not here to dissect every element of you and your journey. This is a tarot symbolism experience, but it is a nice way to be able to be deep. Some people are deep, yeah? Some of us are so introspective. Some of us live in our mind. Some of us are truly, truly hermetic and hermits and deeply infused with our senses of self. Our thinking mind, the thinking man, the thinking woman. That's who we are at the core. That's who we've always been. We're very emotive. We're very emotional. We're very in these feelings. The Three of Swords is out at the end, yeah? So the Devil and the Seven of Swords just came out. And then we've got the Three of Swords. The Three of Swords is clarified by the Hanged Man. The Hanged Man. That's saying for as long as you can remember in your life, you've been hanging around waiting to be enlightened about heartache and pain, waiting to see a lighter day, waiting not to be in Five of Cups, bottom of the deck. Bottom of the deck, Five of Cups, the Star, Ace of Wands, Two of Swords, Ten of Swords. Strength. We're not even going there, but just so you know, I'll say it again just for interest. Five of Cups, the Star, Ace of Wands, Two of Swords, Ten of Swords, Strength. The devil exists in all of us. Yeah? That's what this reading says. And that's what this reading is identifying in regards to the relationship journey that you've been on up until now. Because up until now, you've been fighting the devil inside of you, which is presented outwardly in others, because you question other dynamics and you question how far they can go, and you see the toxicity and the positivity in dynamics, whether you're thinking about it, manifesting that toxicity into your life, or questioning someone's genuine intent. It's been a cycle that you've gone through over and over again. You've tried to balance out connections frequently, and it just hasn't been able to move because the devil is a liar and the liar is loud. Yeah? And there's been Three of Swords. You have had a very specific view about relationships, and it's been Three of Swords. Your feelings about relationships, Three of Swords. That's heartache, pain. Check out the tarot musical at the top, Hermit HQ. My Hermit HQ channel is dedicated to a tarot musical where we dive through different tarot cards and we put out the visuals for it. Her tarot musical, the Three of Swords, which is possibly my favourite song. I think it's my favourite song of the musical so far. But I do have a lot that I love. Check it out and let me know what songs over there you like. Three of Swords, my favourite. It's personal to me. It means a lot to me. And I just loved creating it. I love the visuals. And it just touches my heart every time I hear it again. And Three of Swords, the Hanged Man. It talks to me about you being on a really, really long journey. A lifelong journey of not moving in love until it no longer comes with the Three of Swords as the, I want to say the predecessor, but that doesn't make sense. So as the predominant force is what I will say. Until you feel like Three of Swords is not the predominant force in your love life, you're not moving. And I think that's been the right play. I think that's been the greatest play of your life. And I think you're healing with Five of Cups still here. You're healing with Three of Swords still here. And that means relationships in your life. Yeah? Like I said at the beginning, relationships in your life have presented. Family and friends, colleagues, workforce, everyone around you has challenged you and your relationships. And the Seven of Swords have been presented. The Devil's been presented. Three of Swords have been presented. So you being in Hangman has been the compulsory measure. Three of Cups, a lot of pain, a lot of grief. A lot of people that you love fucked you up the arse. That sounds really wrong. I'm so sorry. If that involves any abuse, I'm so sorry. That was an awful thing to say. I didn't really consider that when I said it. Deary me. I hope that's not the case. But that's a British term. That's how I talk, right? But screwed you over. Really disrespected you, you know? But we've had quite a few abuse issues and toxic stuff like that coming up. So I wouldn't want to put my foot in my mouth and say something horrendous without considering it, okay? So I only apologise if that hit in the wrong nerve, you know, in the wrong way. So the Star card, you're healing this now, and there is a passionate new beginning for you. You haven't got to choose. You haven't got to worry anymore about betrayal and being hurt. You just got to live your life, period. That's it. Have strength to forgive yourself for trusting people you should have never trusted in your life. Have faith that you can love again. Have faith that this is the truth. Have faith and believe that you are who you think you are and you have mastered what you think you've mastered. I want to get ego and bitchy with it, but the way I look at it, so I'll give you a little bit of me on the outro, right? I know ain't no one coming to fuck with me and fuck me over and take me for a dickhead, because I'm a fucking master of my shit. And I've been through hell, and I can see a motherfucker who's genuine, and I can see a motherfucker who's disingenuous. And if you try me, you will learn, and you will see. I'm not tolerating bullshit, yeah? That's why the Three of Swords is out. That's why the Devil's out. That's why the Seven of Swords is out. That's why the Hangman's out. Because I'm chilling, and taking it in my stride. Because a motherfucker's not going to try me again. Right? And that's not the sweetest pie, lovely, airy, fairy, spiritualist vibration that we all want to hear. But that's the grit that we accrue on the journey. And that's what keeps us stable and grounded. So you've got to have that same mentality to a certain degree. Not the greatest thing to advocate for, guys. That was just me spitballing. But that's how you've got to be sometimes when you are consciously aware. You've got to prep yourself in the mind that you're not going to get done dirty, you're not going to be hurt again, and that you've put all the right measures in place to protect yourself. Yeah? Over the last few years, I say that because over the last few years, I've been really fucked over by a lot of people that I loved, and a lot of people that I cared about. Stabbed in the back, stabbed in the fucking front, more like. Yeah? Toxicity after toxicity, and people will fuck you over when you are down and out. And people, when you're really weak and weary, I was grieving 3 family members, going through homelessness, really clawing my way forward with this whole business and everything I'm building in my life, moving away from romantic relationships, because fucking hell, my life's a fucking mess. I need to fix a lot of fucking shit. But then on top of that bullshit, I've got family taking full advantage of my weakest moments. And my family could never fuck with me when I'm in a positive high vibration, or fuck with me when I'm up. So the moment I'm fucking taking a break and having a moment to have a little breakdown, have a little cry, have a little fucking grief, these motherfuckers are running rampant. These demons are running a fucking muck. Are you joking? Are you fucking joking me? Yeah? And that was the era of my life where my frequent phrase was, give them enough rope. Fuck it. Give everyone all the rope. You want rope, you say? You need rope? Hold on. I'm going to go to the store and buy fucking feet of the stuff. I'm going to buy as much rope as I can fucking carry for you, because I'm done. Give them the rope. Give everybody the fucking rope. And they all hang themselves. So you're in a great position to be in the hangman, because you've hung yourself too. And that's what's beautiful. Wow, this is deep. Because the energy I'm getting is you've hung yourself. You put yourself out to dry. Yeah? Because as you've done that, everyone else has also followed suit. Yeah? It's like It's like leaving millions of pounds on the table in the office, yeah? Leaving hard wallets all over the place with millions on it, and with a big gleaming light of "Don't touch me, I'm worth millions," just sprinkling them all over the place. And then it's like the money at the bank that is in the bag, that when you open the bag it bursts that neon powder paint all over your fucking face. Imagine that. Imagine you've got those bags all over your fucking house, and you let all of your loved ones in, and the bag clearly says "Don't fucking touch." And I'm gonna go away for the weekend, alright? Love you guys. Lock them all in the fucking house for 2 weeks solid. Leave all these bags around in all the places that they shouldn't be fucking going. Come back 2 weeks later from vacay. Open the fucking front door. Not only are these guys, every single one of them, covered in fucking neon powder, but they're all fucking each other's faces off and cutting each other, and there's money burnt and ripped and blood, and people are losing ears, limbs, people have cut off each other's toes, people are tied and strapped to the chair, someone's hanging off the fucking ceiling. The room's full of fucking demons. Great. All the ones I love the most, you say? Oh, fantastic. That's a great way for me to reinstall love and light into my life. All of these motherfuckers can't be trusted. Fantastic. They definitely got more than enough rope, right? But what does that mean? Means we've learned. Means we're wiser, smarter. It means they're gone. We started this reading, first round, 8 of Cups, didn't we? Moving on. The black hole's gone. The trauma's gone. And when you close out these cycles with these kind of people, you close the fucking door for good, and you learn the lesson, and you remember the characteristics that they exude, and you remember how they got one up on you, and you remember to never let that shit happen again, and you'd be willing to put other people through their fucking paces, and you'd be willing to tell other people to their face what you've been through, and that they are being put through their paces. That way they know where you stand. And they know where they stand, so it's not a manipulative situation. You go in with clarity in dynamics, and you set the precedents from early on, and you let that manifest and unfold in a natural, authentic way with everybody in your life. And this is about relationships with everyone across the board before this beautiful union comes in. So this person looks like someone that you're going to meet in what you do in your career, in walks of life, in the community. As you become more you and they become more them, you're building the same thing. Do you get what I mean? And you're not looking at each other at all. You're focused on your own shit. It's gorgeous. But you're not even looking in the same direction. So you're potentially not in the same field. I'll say that. But your community, there's something very similar about this. One person, and it looks like the feminine, is looking straight on at a real political, serious, geopolitical, it's a serious issue. The image is very serious. There's a lot of blood. It's war related. And I say that because that is something I'm very aware of. All the toxicity in the world, real problems, real issues. Someone else is more laid back about it, but they're still an activist. They're still fighting for what's right. And it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're looking at about 7 weeks to 7 months. Definitely not years. Over the next 7 weeks, there could be change or transformation, or something could be presented to you, very interestingly so. And it could awaken you to some political issues or some real serious stuff in life that you want to take notice of and pay more attention to. And in the next 7 months, it looks like you could be really clearing out whatever this old stuff is, and your new relationships with everyone around you that's in your immediate that didn't cover themselves in neon paint. And you start to realise that your relationships are more stable with those closest to you and those who still remain in your life, it will open up the portal for this connection. And it appears that there will be some kind of coming together in just a really natural way. Really, it just seems really like, you know, when it's just meant to be, like something, whatever's meant to be will never pass you by. So I'm not even telling you a story about this connection. It just looks like, well, eventually that's going to come together then, because you're kind of already like together. Yeah? Gives me people that work for the same corporation, but at different places in the world. Yeah. So you both work in the same company, potentially in the same department. Maybe you talk on the phone all the time, and you work remotely. Do you get what I mean? But you never met up. You're both professionals. You didn't know what each other looked like. You never really spoken to each other. You may email back and forth now and then, but you never really connected. Because it's like two people who work in the same corporation, and someone works in Asia and someone works, God knows where in it, Jamaica. One works in Jamaica, one works in Asia. You'd never come together. To ask me companies that are like that, I don't know. It's probably not the best place. I should probably say something like, one of you work in San Francisco, one of you work in New York. You know what I mean? You've both been there for the same amount of time, not paying attention. Both leading on similar projects as well. But now it's getting really, really significant. And eventually you're just going to meet each other at one of these kind of events, it appears to be, or just be conscious of each other enough, maybe through social media, God knows. And the divine will do what the divine does, yeah? I would say 7 months. So we're looking at June, yeah? A real shift in your reality and all of your relationships by June. And if this isn't a specific person in the story I've told you, because that obviously can't be for everyone, then by June you're ready to go at it again. By June you're ready to date. By June you're looking at people like, oh, I wouldn't mind dating again. Like, you've got your pizzazz back and you're willing to go out there and connect and network and socialize, or start just getting that romantic feel back. Yeah, I love it. It's gorgeous, and it's really, really positive, and it's really light. Like, there's no force in a relationship, there's no force in a connection, there's no need for anything to happen at any time soon. It's just, this is life, and you're living it, and you're healing. And it's about the immediate relationships and the trauma from the past first, right? Beauty is the most important thing, right? And I want to say beauty's in the eye of the beholder, but it's more than that. It's in the sense of, you're starting to see the beauty in all things again, and in the dynamics that you already hold. And that's what's making you kind of become this beholder and this kind of all-seeing eye of, I get it and I feel it, and someone's just going to know what to do and when to do it. And it's just going to make the most perfect sense. And for me, it's amazing, because these two people are still not looking at each other. And I'm looking like, are they going to look at each other eventually? Are they going to see each other eventually? Is he going to turn? Is she going to turn? Are they going to face on? But right now, it isn't that. There is no face on. And that's fascinating to me, because magic's real. And it suggests that magic is really at play here. And that there's so much more excitement that hasn't been revealed. So bear that in mind, that the greatest gift of love that's going to be coming towards you is still concealed. Because God wants you to be surprised, and God wants you to have this awesome experience in line with what you deserve after what you've been through. So thank God, you know. Keep going, keep believing, keep shining, and keep working on you. And I'll be back soon with more. Love and light.